snake bracelet. Looks to me 19th century, turquoise, and I'm given to understand is gold-plated. And how did you get hold of it?
Years ago, I used to stay with my aunt and uncle during school holidays, so I always used to get hold of her jewellery and dress up in it. And every time I came home, I used to come home with another little item, and this was one of them.
Being as it is a base metal which has been gilded, eventually it leaves a stain on your hand. But when it's well plated, it seems to last, and as you can see, it's an old piece and it's lasted extremely well. And it doesn't do that. There is a repair under the head. You can see where they've done a lead repair.
Oh, yes.
Okay? It's quite acceptable. It's underneath. It's not seen. You know, when you're wearing it, it's not noticeable. So if somebody wanted to buy it, I'm sure, you know, it wouldn't worry them. Money-wise, I will make just one offer and see what happens. You might say, no. 50, 60, 70, 75. But to me, that's what it's worth. Hi, David.
Well, I have to tell you, I thought the valuers were a little bit on the low side here. They say 50 to 80. Now, I know it's only gold-plated, but it has a look about it that makes it quirky, interesting, different. And in fact, I think I know somebody who might even want to be wearing it with their bathrobe or something like that. So I'm going to say I would have said another tenner, Ian. Something as nice as this. You know as well as I do, it'll be on your wrist anyway, love, so you won't regret it. You'll wear it.
He's always saying I won't regret it.
I'll go with the main man, another tenner.
I bet
and
you
another
will.
deal.
Another £10.
My tenner. £10.
Come on.
You got a deal then.
Got a deal?
Okay.
He's going to love
I'm
it, you know
crazy.
that.
You know, so we have another tenner.
Yes,
Okay. Why am I buying this? It's metal.
because it's quaint.
So
Quaint and quirky.
£85 and we're done.
Yes,
You shake on it.
thank you.
All right. Oh my God, metal.
Very nice gentleman, very good deal. I can tell you now, I would have taken a little bit less. That little bit extra just made my day.
The bracelet snakes its way into Ian's shop. Find out if he makes a profit later in the show. Next on Lady Alison Chapman's table is a force to be reckoned with in the form of mother and daughter duo Lillian and Amanda.
These are your silver-plated serviette rings. So what makes them special?
Well, we know they're White Star.
Okay, so White Star, they own Titanic, but these aren't Titanic. I so wish they were, because it would make them 10 times easier to sell on. They are what they are. They're a White Star line, silver-plated napkin ring. So how did you come by them?
Well, we had a brownie jumble sale, and at the end of the sale, you know, all the rubbish, and they were going to go into the bin because they were black, and they were all tied together with postman string. So I thought I'd clean them up and have a dinner party. They went into a drawer, and they stayed there for about 45 years.
Did they? Do you know anyone that uses serviette rings nowadays?
Probably the Queen.
The Queen would,
Yes,
wouldn't
the
she?
Queen would,
Definitely.
yes.
So I'll put her on my potential client list. But anyway, let's put my money on the table. £10.
That's a good starter.
Is that for one?
No.
You don't really want them, Alison, do you?
Yeah, you've read me very well. If they were silver, I'd be like delving deep. Let's call it 15 then. I don't see them at vastly more than that. I'm ever so sorry, Lillian. Where do you see them at?
A lot more than that, I'm afraid.
Do you?
Yes.
So do you think you ought to go to auction with them?
Would you go to auction if you were me?
Not with silver-plated serviette rings, I wouldn't. But it depends if they can promote...
It's the history, isn't it?
Well, what history do they have? They were made by the or they were used by the White Star Line, and they happened to have a ship called Titanic that sank.
You've got no romance in your soul.
I have so much romance, it pours out of me,
It's
but
a
not over
glamorous
these.
time. The Art
It was a
Deco
glamorous time. And in that time, there were many glamorous things made. But I am listening to your story, and I falled for your story to the tune of £15. So what would you like to do, Lillian?
I think we'd go to auction, yes?
Yes.
Off to auction? Have you ever been to auction?
No.
you'll have a lot of fun. It means you can spend time with David, and I hope you do well with them there. Thank you ever so much, Lillian. Thank you. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you.
Oh dear, Alison wasn't impressed by the silver star serviette rings, was she? Hopefully there'll be some buyers at the auction who'll love them. Let's find out as they go under the gavel of auctioneer William Rouse.
12, 14. You brought along something rather interesting. You brought along 5 Elkington silver-plated napkin rings. Now, Alison said, I will give you £15 for your silver-plated rings, which would have made a nice profit, but you turned her down. The reserve is 40 quid. Dare I say it, are they going to sink in the sale room or are they going to sail? Let's find out. They're coming up now.
£20 then to go. 20 unbid everywhere. 22, 25, 28, 30, 32, 35, 38, 40.
We've got more than 40.
On the money, 42, 45. It's amazing what this White Star connection does.
60, 65, £65 here. At 65 they're going.
OK, £65 under the gavel, a very good result. Take away the commission and you're going home with £55. Any idea what you're going to do with the money?
I think we'll have a meal out, shall we?
OK. It sounds like the girls, mother and daughter, are going to have a nice meal out with their 55 quid, and that was the real deal.
Armed and ready for his next lot, we're over with Michael Hogben.
What do you know about your gun? I know it was my grandfather's. My grandparents were publicans. They had pubs many years ago. And an Irishman, I know, had no money and needed money and sold it to my granddad. And he used it then. He had animals out the back of the pub, hens and chickens and stuff, and the foxes kept getting in and killing them, and he used that to get rid of them. Wow.
Yeah.
They have to be deactivated.
Yeah, it has been.
This has been deactivated.
Yeah.
This is about 1830, 1850.
Okay.
It's called a Flintlock musket. And the nice one about this one is you've got the maker's name on here, Lacey & Co.
Yeah.
And it's pitted, it's been used, like you say, but it's still quite a nice piece. This is walnut, the stock, and brass highlights. Had a little bit of work done. And collectors of this sort of memorabilia, they do look for the best quality. They want the best of the best.
Okay.
Bit about the money now, isn't it, Matthew?
It is.
Last one I think I sold was about 150 quid's worth, so 20, 40, 60, 80 quid.
No.
How about 100 quid?
No.
Do you rate it quite high?
Higher than that.
But are you emotionally attached to it?
Yeah, as I say, it's my granddad's. Obviously, I've had it years. I'm not going to part with it for that money. Definitely not. I'm going to keep it.
All right. 120.
No.
140. That's my final offer.
No. A bit more than that.
How much more?
Another 50 quid.
Another 50?
Yeah. Come on. You know
David,
it's
help
worth
me
more
out
than
here.
that. £200 to £300 is the estimation. Not a bad little gun, it's quite clean, the barrel is pitted, but as a wall piece, I think it's all right.
Not enough.
Got to be 160, 170, something like that, hasn't it? I think it's worth a little bit more.
160. That has tempted the cockles of your heart, hasn't it?
You're getting there.
No, but that's a good bid. I've got to make a profit.
Put another score on there and we'll have a deal. It's fair enough. I'm going to say to you, another £20 is not an expensive item.
We need to work on more than 20 quid profit nowadays, David. That's 5%
You'll
on
double
my
your
money.
money on that.
I'll tell you what I'll do.
More than 20 quid?
Yeah. If I pay 180 and get 200, it's 20 quid profit.
Oh. You'll get more than 2 for that, you know that.
I could earn more than that being a milkman.
But
listen.
You know different because you used to be a milkman.
Cock and egg.
Okay, I'm going to go out the way there. He's very difficult to deal with sometimes, this man. So he's got 160. He's going to put another £10, 170, make you mine up time.
It's not about being difficult, it's just about making a profit, which is what
I
I'm
understand that.
So, Matt, there is my offer. £170 in cash from the most handsome antique dealer on the show.
Yes.
Matt, it's been good to do business with you.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.
It'll be a good one.
Thanks.
What we've got here is the Queen's Silver Jubilee, commemorated between 1952 and 1977 of her reign. and
Yeah.
this particular piece says it's to certify that this is one of a limited edition of
yes.
2,500 commemorative plates.
That's correct. It belonged to my in-laws,
Yeah.
and I have no idea why they bought them or when they bought them. It's one of several different pieces that we came across in the house.
What are you planning on doing with the money if you do sell
Well,
it?
my wife died 5 months ago,
Oh, I'm sorry.
and the things like these are objects, what we've got.
Yeah.
We agreed that they would be sold
Yeah.
and the money would be distributed to the cancer fund. So the more I can get off you, then the more I can give to them.
Oh, so no pressure then?
No.
Well, it's a very nice thing to be looking to put the money towards, and I'd be very happy to contribute. But hopefully,
you.
my offer will be one that you'll be pleased with. And if not, you always have the option of having a day out with David at the auction.
Yes.
Have you ever been to an auction before?
No.
No. Well, hopefully you won't have to. Have a go. 20, 40, 60, £80. Now, before you agree or disagree, the reason I've straight away put that down is that this is a solid silver piece.
Yes.
So in its own right, it is worth something just because it's made of silver. So £80 is my opening bid. How do you feel about that, Paddy?
Well, I'd feel a lot happier and better if there was a little bit more or a lot more on the
An
table.
awful lot more.
Yes.
If I put 90 on the table, how do you feel about that, Paddy?
I'd feel a little bit more. There's a little bit more on top of it.
And what do you mean by a little bit
Well,
more?
I'll let you know when you get there.
Okay. So if I take the 10 away and put 20, leaving me a little bit of profit, I think that's quite a fair bid. What do you think about that, Pad?
Well, I think if you put that other £10 back on top of that, I might consider it.
Well, as it's going to charity, and you're such a gentleman, I shall put 110 down. We've got a deal.
That's fine.
Thank you
Thank
so
you very
much.
much.
Thanks, Paddy.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
You too.
Our next seller is hoping for a roaring success with David Ford.
Little collection of what look like silver medallions, I guess. So, tell me, how did you come to own these?
They belonged to my stepmother, who she sadly passed away in September, and my dad decided to bring them to auction, and any money we raised, we're going to give to cancer research and the nurses.
Marvellous. Yes, I've had my own experiences with them, and they are absolutely wonderful. I mean, the thing is with this sort of thing is when people go out and buy these, they buy them from various companies that manufacture these things.
Yeah.
Jubilee. There'll be more coming out for the Queen's Jubilee this year. And there's sort of two good days. I mean, talking now commercially rather than about your charitable gesture.
Yeah.
There's two good days when you buy. The day you buy them and the day you sell them. You know, probably quite expensive when bought new.
Yeah.
Far more than face value.
Yeah.
But today, they're probably only worth, commercially, the value of the silver.
Right.
Seems sad because
It does,
they're all
yes.
nicely done.
They're beautiful.
I mean, I don't know quite who the manufacturer of these were, but they're obviously all solid silver, and they've got all these, what are called the Queen's beasts on them, etched into them. Now, a little earlier on, they were weighed for me, so I know what they weigh, so I know what they're worth in terms of their silver value.
Yeah.
And it's that, quite frankly, that I would be paying.
Okay.
So let's see where we can go with these, shall we? I'm basing this offer really on the scrap value. There's £200, and there's a further £20. Now that's the value if they go to melt.
Yes.
And there's a £20 because I really do believe in it, Macmillan, from me.
That's great.
So that's £240 I'll give you for those, which is just a bit over what they're worth. How do you feel about that, Kevin?
I feel that's quite a generous offer, actually, yes.
Do we have a deal?
I think we can have a deal on that. It's a great offer.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Kevin.
Another satisfied customer. Kevin walks away with a princely sum. All week we're celebrating the Queen's Diamond Jubilee. and we caught up with one person who certainly knows a thing or two about all things royal.
I'm Robin Hunt from Stockport. I'm a retired school teacher and I've been collecting royal memorabilia for the last 40-odd years. Mainly ephemera and small pieces of silver. I concentrate on things that are easy to handle and attractive to look at. I've been told that I can only have one room in the house to store all this memorabilia, so I keep it all in the dining room. The way I catalogue my items, if they're 3D items like brooches, jigsaw puzzles, I photograph them and put them in various reference books so that I needn't duplicate things. My favourite items are my collection of silver spoons commemorating Victoria's Golden and Diamond Jubilee. Silks, I've got a big collection of silks, and this is from the wedding of Charles and Diana. It's ostrich feathers mounted in silver, and of course the feathers of the Prince of Wales, and it's a most attractive and most unusual souvenir. One of the rarest items that I've got is this coronation programme for William IV, printed on satin. It was given by the Garter King of Arms to one of his friends, and it says this is the only one which has not been issued to members of the royal family. My collection's got me into trouble, but only domestically, because when the postman arrives with packets and parcels, I try to get to the door first before my wife. If she gets there first, I'm afraid tempers get a wee bit frayed. The monetary side of the collection doesn't really bother me at all. It's the love of collecting, the interest that I get from the collection, and if I've got to save up for it and do without things, I'll do that. I don't think we'll ever be without the royal family. They're so much above politics. I think they'll continue on into the far distant future.